Hi there, I'm John McAdams. I'm the founder of the Big Game Hunting blog, and in this video I am going to do a detailed comparison of the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 300 Winchester Magnum cartridges. Now both are super popular hunting cartridges these days, and it is important to understand what they each have to offer hunters. As you will learn here shortly, there are some significant differences between the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 300 Win Mag cartridges that you need to be aware of. Unfortunately, as is the case with many of the things involving the 6.5 Creedmoor, there is a lot of misinformation and hype out there regarding the capabilities of these cartridges. Not surprisingly, it is really easy to get confused when trying to understand their actual strengths and weaknesses. There's also a claim that the 6.5 Creedmoor is basically the same as the 300 Win Mag, but just with less recoil. Is that the case? Well, watch this video to learn the truth. In this video, I'm going to discuss the pros and cons of the 6.5 Creedmoor and 300 Winchester Magnum cartridges so you can make an informed decision on which one is right for you. So first, let's talk about the history of the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 300 Win Mag. The years following World War II were a true renaissance of civilian firearm and cartridge development in the United States. That time period saw a flood of new centerfire rifle cartridges like the .223 Remington, .243 Winchester, and the .308 Winchester. Now that same general time period also saw the start of the Magnum era, when Winchester introduced a line of new belted Magnum cartridges that utilized a modified 375 H&H Magnum case. The new .458 Winchester Magnum came along first in 1956 and was quickly followed by the .338 Winchester Magnum and the .264 Winchester Magnum during the next couple of years. All of those cartridges utilized a 375 H&H Magnum case necked down, or up in the case of the .458 Win Mag, and shortened from 2.85 inches to 2.5 inches long. The designers used those shortened cases so that all three cartridges would fit in a standard length rifle action, which is the same as the .30-06 Springfield, instead of a longer Magnum length action required by the original 375 H&H cartridge. Winchester offered those belted Magnum cartridges in their legendary Model 70 rifle and marketed each one to a particular segment of the American hunting community. The .264 Win Mag to Western hunters wanting a flatter shooting cartridge for longer range shots on thin-skinned game like pronghorn and mule deer, but potentially bigger game too. The .338 Win Mag to hunters pursuing really large and or tough species of American game like elk and moose, and the .458 Win Mag to hunters going afield after dangerous game like Cape buffalo in Africa. While all of those cartridges were commercially successful, Winchester didn't stop there. Remington sent shockwaves through the hunting and shooting worlds with the introduction of the 7mm Remington Magnum in 1962. That cartridge also used a shortened and necked down 375 H&H case and fired a 7mm or a .284 caliber bullet. The new Remington cartridge was a massive commercial success, and it quickly began to take market share away from the .264 Win Mag. So Winchester responded with the introduction of the 300 Winchester Magnum in 1963. Built by using a modified 338 Winchester Magnum case, the 300 Winchester Magnum basically duplicated the performance of the other fast 30 caliber cartridges of the day like the 308 Norma and the 300 H&H Magnum. However, unlike those other 30 caliber Magnums, the 300 Win Mag could fit in a standard length rifle action like the other new Winchester belted Magnums, as well as the 7mm Remington Magnum, offering a dramatic improvement in performance over the venerable .30-06 Springfield that also compared favorably to the 7mm Rim Mag in many areas. The 300 Win Mag was an almost instant commercial success for Winchester, and it remains one of the most popular big game hunting cartridges in North America to this day. Now let's fast forward a few decades. In the early 2000s, Dave Emery of Hornady Manufacturing and Dennis DeMille of Creedmoor Sports saw an opportunity to build a new cartridge for high-power rifle competition shooting. Specifically, they wanted to build an ideal long-range shooting cartridge that was just as accurate as the .308 at long distance, but with less recoil, less wind drift, and a flatter trajectory. And they also wanted the cartridge to fit in a short-action rifle. By modifying a .30 Thompson Center case to shoot .264 caliber bullets, They successfully built a cartridge optimized for use with 4350 class propellants with a relatively large case capacity that could also accommodate long, heavy, high ballistic coefficient bullets without intruding into the powder column. Named the 6.5 Creedmoor in honor of the Creedmoor matches and designed for use with a relatively fast 1 and 8 inch rifling twist rate, Emery and DeMille were quite successful in their goal of building the ideal competition shooting cartridge with a relatively flat trajectory. A typical 6.5 Creedmoor load shoots a 140 grain bullet at about 2,700 feet per second, so the Creedmoor does not have eye-popping ballistics, but it is very accurate, has moderate recoil, and uses high BC bullets that retain energy and resist wind drift exceptionally well. For those reasons, the cartridge has seen a great deal of success in the hands of competition shooters and recently made the jump into the mainstream hunting community. The cartridge has also become extremely popular among hunters and shooters who appreciate the mild recoil and the great extended range performance of the cartridge. So now let's talk about the relative sizes of these two cartridges. First, as you can see, the 300 Win Mag is physically much larger than the 6.5 Creedmoor. The Winchester cartridge has a longer overall length and uses a longer case than the 6.5 Creedmoor. That said, the 6.5 Creedmoor is designed to fit in a short action rifle, while the longer 300 Win Mag requires the use of a long or a standard length action. Bullet size is one of the other obvious differences between the two cartridges. Each one uses different diameter bullets, .264 caliber for the Creedmoor and .308 caliber for the 300 Win Mag. There is also a significant difference in the most common bullet weights for each cartridge. The 6.5 Creedmoor most often utilizes bullet weights in that 90 to 160 grain range, with 120, 129, 140, and 143 grain bullets being the most common. On the other hand, the 300 Win Mag uses bullets in the 150 to 220 grain range, with 150 grain, 165 grain, 180 grain, and 200 grain bullets being the most common. The 300 Win Mag also has a larger .532 inch rim diameter, while the 6.5 Creedmoor has a .473 inch rim diameter. At the same time, the 6.5 Creedmoor has a steeper 30-degree shoulder, while the 300 Win Mag has a 25-degree shoulder. Even so, the 300 Win Mag has a much larger case capacity than the 6.5 Creedmoor, since it is so much longer and larger in diameter. And it is also loaded to a higher maximum semi-authorized pressure than the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now let's talk about the ballistics of these two cartridges. Not surprisingly, the differences in the external dimensions of the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 300 Winchester Magnum translate into some pretty significant differences in their ballistic performance. This is illustrated in the table I'm showing you now, comparing Hornady Precision Hunter, Nosler Trophy Grade Partition, and Winchester Deer Season XP factory ammunition. I chose those particular factory loads because they provide a good demonstration of the performance of each cartridge when using a wide spectrum of different bullets. The Winchester loads use light for caliber bullets, the Nosler loads use heavy for caliber bullets, and the Hornady loads use heavy for caliber, exceptionally aerodynamic bullets for each cartridge. So specifically, these 6.5 Creedmoor loads use a 125 grain extreme point with a .540 BC, a 140 grain partition with a .490 BC, and a 143 grain ELDX with a .625 BC. The 300 Win Mag loads use a 150 grain extreme point with a .392 BC, a 180 grain partition with a .474 BC, and a 200 grain ELDX with a .597 BC. Note that the bullets used by the 6.5 Creedmoor in each case are more aerodynamic than those used by the 300 Win Mag for the exact same load, and we'll talk about this more later. Now, all 6 loads in this table use a 200-yard 0. Now, as you can see, the 300 Win Mag fires a larger caliber and heavier bullet at a significantly faster velocity than the 6.5 Creedmoor. Even though the bullets used by the 6.5 Creedmoor are generally more aerodynamic, that 100 to 400 foot per second advantage in muzzle velocity with bullets that are 20 to 40% heavier translates into a flatter trajectory with less bullet drop at longer range. The 300 Win Mag also has a significant kinetic energy advantage over the 6.5 Creedmoor at all ranges. However, since the 6.5 Creedmoor uses more aerodynamic bullets with a higher ballistic coefficient, the gap in performance between the cartridges slightly decreases in size as range increases. Specifically, the 300 Win Mag has about 38 to 57% more muzzle energy than the 6.5 Creedmoor with those particular loads. That turns into a 36 to 54% advantage in favor of the 300 Win Mag at 500 yards, which isn't that much of a change from the difference in energy at the muzzle. So I think it is fair to say that while the Creedmoor does catch up a little bit at longer range, the 300 Win Mag hits significantly harder than the 6.5 Creedmoor at all reasonable hunting ranges. Now let's talk about how much a 10 mile per hour crosswind impacts those same loads out to 500 yards. As you can see on this table, even though the bullets from the 300 Win Mag are heavier and going faster, the 6.5 Creedmoor uses much more aerodynamic bullets that also offer pretty good resistance to wind drift. Even so, the difference between the two cartridges is pretty darn small in this regard. Now, the Nosler Partition and Hornady ELDX loads track each other almost exactly, and the 300 Win Mag has a tiny advantage in each case. The 300 Win Mag Deer Season XP load drifts almost 3 inches more than the 6.5 Creedmoor at 500 yards though. And the differences are of course smaller at shorter range. All things considered, it's pretty much a wash or maybe a small edge in favor of the 6.5 Creedmoor as far as wind drift goes. Now let's talk about recoil though. Not surprisingly, the 300 Winchester Magnum has significantly more recoil than the 6.5 Creedmoor. When comparing the Hornady ELDX loads when fired from identical rifles, the 300 Win Mag produces about 150% more free recoil energy than the little 6.5 Creedmoor. Results will be similar with other representative loads for each cartridge. Now that should not be surprising at all. After all, the 6.5 Creedmoor was designed specifically to be a mild recoiling and sweet shooting cartridge, while the 300 Win Mag is a heavy hitting belted Magnum. Basically, the 300 Win Mag should be expected to hit harder on both ends, which is exactly the case. Now this can be mitigated to a certain extent with the use of a suppressor, a muzzle brake, and/or a good recoil pad. So the extra recoil of the 300 Win Mag isn't necessarily a deal breaker for many people, but it is still worth considering though. Now don't underestimate the impact that recoil has on the ability of a person to shoot accurately either. Some people do handle recoil better than others, but all other things being equal, they will absolutely shoot more accurately with a milder recoiling cartridge. Additionally, there are a couple of other factors that are worth discussing. First, the 300 Win Mag uses larger diameter bullets than the 6.5 Creedmoor. Specifically, the larger diameter .308 caliber bullets used by the 300 Win Mag have about 36% more frontal surface area than the smaller .264 caliber bullets used by the 6.5 Creedmoor. All other things being equal, a bigger bullet will make a bigger hole, cause more tissue damage, and result in more blood loss. Especially when combined with the fact that the 300 Win Mag carries more kinetic energy downrange than the 6.5 Creedmoor, those larger diameter bullets are certainly helpful when hunting bigger game. On the other hand, as we covered earlier, those longer, heavy for caliber .264 caliber bullets do generally have a higher ballistic coefficient than the most common bullets used by the 300 Win Mag. Now the 6.5 millimeter bore diameter is also in something of a sweet spot where it is easier to manufacture very high BC bullets that aren't especially heavy. Those aerodynamic projectiles don't slow down as fast and they are more resistant to wind drift. They also have a relatively high sectional density. Sectional density is a measure of the ratio of the diameter of a projectile to its mass. All other things being equal, a heavier projectile of a given caliber will be longer and therefore have a higher sectional density and penetrate deeper than projectiles with a lower mass and lower sectional density. 150 grain, 180 grain, and 200 grain .308 caliber bullets have sectional densities of .226, .271, and .301 respectively. At the same time, 120 grain, 129 grain, 140 grain, and 143 grain .264 caliber bullets have sectional densities of .246, .264, .287, and .293. There is some overlap there, but with the exception of the absolute heaviest 300 Win Mag bullets, the 6.5 Creedmoor does have a slight edge in sectional density. Now, there's not a darn thing wrong with the killing power or penetration capabilities of the 300 Win Mag, but this might help explain why the 6.5 Creedmoor tends to perform better on game than the modest ballistics of the cartridge on paper would suggest. Now, what about 6.5 Creedmoor versus 300 Win Mag accuracy? The 300 Winchester Magnum is certainly capable of outstanding accuracy, often sub-MOA. However, the heavier recoil of the cartridge can make shot placement more challenging for certain people, especially those who are more recoil shy. On the other hand, the 6.5 Creedmoor was specifically designed as a mild recoiling competition shooting cartridge. And since it shoots .264 caliber bullets, there is a bigger selection of high BC and high sectional density match grade hunting bullets available for that cartridge. Now, that's not to say the 300 Win Mag isn't accurate or there aren't a bunch of good quality rifles available for it. It's just the overall design of the 6.5 Creedmoor does give that cartridge an edge over the 300 Win Mag in potential accuracy at extended range. So where do we stand with each cartridge? The 300 Win Mag fires larger diameter and significantly heavier bullets at a higher velocity than the 6.5 Creedmoor. The 300 Win Mag has a flatter trajectory and has significantly more kinetic energy at typical hunting ranges, but the 6.5 Creedmoor has much less recoil. All things considered, the two cartridges have vastly different strengths and weaknesses, and they are optimized for different uses. The 300 Win Mag has definite advantages in velocity, bullet weight, retained energy, and trajectory, while the 6.5 Creedmoor has much less recoil and may have a tiny advantage in terms of wind drift. So what about the claim that some people have made that the 6.5 Creedmoor is basically the same as the 300 Win Mag, just with less recoil? I think it's pretty clear that the 300 Win Mag is in an entirely different class from the 6.5 Creedmoor. Similar to, but not quite as extreme as, the comparison of the 223 to the 308, the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 300 Win Mag are vastly different cartridges. The 6.5 Creedmoor is a short action cartridge designed to use very high BC bullets and produce minimal recoil. Those bullets also have a relatively high sectional density and tend to penetrate very well. Those aforementioned strengths of the 6.5 Creedmoor all facilitate precise shot placement, which is extremely important when it comes to ethically taking game. On the other hand, the 300 Win Mag has a definite advantage over the 6.5 Creedmoor in external ballistics at typical hunting ranges. While that is certainly something to keep in mind, laser rangefinders and modern scopes with easily adjustable ballistic turrets, like the Leupold VX5, do make adjusting for bullet drop much simpler now than it was just a few decades ago. Instead, I think the killing power of the 300 Win Mag versus 6.5 Creedmoor is the biggest difference between them. For one thing, the 300 Win Mag also carries a whole lot more energy downrange than the Creedmoor. The cartridge also uses significantly heavier bullets and has a big advantage when it comes to frontal surface area. Those traits give hunters a tiny bit more room for error in shot placement when compared to the 6.5 Creedmoor. Add it all up and the 300 Win Mag just hits with a whole lot more authority, as Joseph von Benedict would say, when compared to the 6.5 Creedmoor, and the cartridge is renowned worldwide for being an extremely effective hunting round on all manner of game. Now, what about barrel life? Both cartridges do have reputations for being rough on barrels. Exactly how fast they'll wear out a barrel depends on a number of factors like the quality of the barrel, the exact ammo used, etc. But the good news for hunters is that typical 6.5 Creedmoor and 300 Win Mag barrel life is most likely long enough to last for many, many years of hunting with no issues at all. So there's very little practical difference in 6.5 Creedmoor versus 300 Win Mag barrel life as far as most hunters are concerned. Now let's talk about ammo. The 300 Win Mag and the 6.5 Creedmoor are both extremely popular centerfire rifle cartridges. Indeed, they're usually among the top 10 most popular cartridges in the USA each year. As popular as the 300 Win Mag is, the 6.5 Creedmoor is probably a little bit more commonly used. That said, they're both very popular and ammo is usually easy to find for both. Now, availability also likely varies regionally though. For instance, 300 Win Mag ammo is probably more common in places like Alaska than the 6.5 Creedmoor. On the other hand, 6.5 Creedmoor ammo is typically noticeably cheaper than 300 Win Mag ammo. But all of the big ammo manufacturers produce an incredible variety of ammo for both cartridges. So in each case, there's usually a really good selection of bullet types and weights for each one that are suitable for big game hunting. Now, during normal times, it's usually very easy to find ammo for both cartridges, and almost any gun or sporting goods store will have a wide variety of ammo for each one in stock. Hand loaders will also appreciate the fact that reloading components for both are readily available, and there's an especially wide variety of bullet choices available for them. So you should not have any trouble working up a good custom load for either one if you like to hand load. Now let's talk about rifles. In addition to the great selection of ammo available in 300 Win Mag and 6.5 Creedmoor, there are many quality rifles available in those cartridges as well. Now, they are both extremely common in bolt-action rifles. In fact, just about every really popular bolt-action hunting rifle in current production is available in both cartridges. For instance, both the 300 Win Mag and the 6.5 Creedmoor are available in several different versions of the Remington 700 and the Winchester Model 70. The same goes for the Browning X-Bolt, the Browning AB3, the Christensen Arms Mesa and Ridgeline, the Kimber Hunter, the Mauser M18, the Mossberg Patriot, the Nosler M48, the Remington Model 7, the Ruger American, Ruger Hawkeye, Savage Axis, Savage 110, Tikka T3X, Weatherby Vanguard, and Winchester XPR. Now, remember when I mentioned earlier that the 6.5 Creedmoor will fit in a short action rifle while the 300 Win Mag requires the use of a long or a standard length action rifle? Well, this means that rifles chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor have a shorter bolt than the exact same rifle in 300 Win Mag. Additionally, and this has nothing to do with the rifle having a short or a long action, gun manufacturers tend to put longer barrels on rifles chambered in 300 Win Mag. So all things considered, rifles chambered in 300 Win Mag tend to be longer, heavier, and a little bit more unwieldy than rifles chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. The Ruger Hawkeye Hunter illustrates those differences well. When chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, the rifle has a 22-inch barrel, an overall length of 42 inches, and weighs 7.2 pounds. The same rifle in 300 Win Mag has a 24-inch barrel, is 44.75 inches long, and weighs 8.2 pounds. So that rifle in 300 Win Mag is almost 3 inches longer and weighs nearly a pound more than the exact same model in 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, having a shorter and lighter rifle is more important on some hunts than on others, so just keep that in mind. So which one is right for you? Do you primarily hunt medium-sized game like white-tailed deer, feral hogs, or black bear at ranges within 200 yards? Both are extremely effective deer hunting cartridges and will absolutely get the job done on medium-sized game if you do your part. The 6.5 Creedmoor in particular is a great deer hunting cartridge. Now, there is nothing wrong with using the 300 Win Mag on deer inside 200 yards, but it's really more gun than you need for that sort of work, and it is rougher on both your shoulder and your wallet. Now, if you're going to be hunting in thick brush or in the tight confines of a deer stand, remember what I just mentioned about the size difference with 6.5 Creedmoor versus 300 Win Mag rifles. That extra couple of inches in overall length of a rifle can be a real headache to deal with when you're trying to quickly and quietly maneuver for a shot in tight conditions. Now, what about if you're looking for a cartridge better suited for long-range hunting for a game like mule deer or pronghorn in open country where you might need to take a shot at several hundred yards? Once again, they'll both work really well in this role. The 6.5 Creedmoor is a good choice for this sort of hunting, but the 300 Win Mag carries a lot more energy out past 200 yards. Now, what about if you want a hunting cartridge that's well suited for caribou, moose, elk, eland, kudu, or even red stag hunting, like bigger game like that? Now, the 6.5 Creedmoor will get the job done in a pinch, but hunters need to be really careful with their shot angles. Broadside or slightly quartering shots are best, and they should probably stick to shots under 250 yards on elk-sized game. Now, with that in mind, the 300 Win Mag is hands down the better choice for hunting bigger game, since it shoots significantly heavier and larger diameter bullets that carry much more kinetic energy downrange. The result is that the 300 Winchester Magnum has a longer effective range and gives hunters much more flexibility with shot angles on really big game when compared to the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, are you sensitive to recoil and maybe you need a lower recoiling cartridge? Well, the 6.5 Creedmoor has significantly less recoil than the 300 Win Mag, especially in a lighter rifle. So this cartridge is especially well suited to new, small-framed, and/or recoil-shy hunters. Indeed, the 6.5 Creedmoor is extremely popular for children to use for deer hunting because it's so darn effective on deer and it has such a mild recoil. Now, what about if you want the round that is best suited for target shooting out past 400 yards or so in a precision rifle? Both will work well and have excellent reputations for precision shooting, but since we're just punching paper or banging steel, I lean more towards the 6.5 Creedmoor since it has such a mild recoil and it is specifically designed to use very high BC, match grade bullets. Now, they're both excellent rifle cartridges, though ones with very different strengths and weaknesses. Though the differences between them are very significant in some respects, they're both suitable for many hunting tasks. Really, the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 300 Win Mag are different enough from each other that I think this is a case where it's a great idea to get good rifles chambered in both of those cartridges. The 6.5 Creedmoor is great for deer or pronghorn. It's also a great option to start your child off hunting with. The 300 Win Mag is perfect for bear, moose, or elk hunting. It's also an excellent cartridge for hunting plains game in Africa. And you can absolutely use it on deer or pronghorn as well, and I certainly have on multiple occasions. Now, if you don't want to own both, then I really think it's just a matter of taking a hard look at your capabilities and what sort of hunting you plan on doing with this rifle. Get a good hunting rifle chambered in the cartridge you think fits your needs the best, and there are some great rifles available in 6.5 Creedmoor and 300 Win Mag. Learn to shoot that rifle well, use quality bullets, and you will be all set. Okay, what'd you think of that video? If you enjoyed it, then please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Just click that red subscribe button below to make sure that you don't miss out on any of my new videos about hunting gear reviews, strategies, and more. Now, for more detailed information on the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 300 Win Mag and how they compare to other popular hunting cartridges, click on the link in the description below the video to get a free ebook I've written on the best hunting calibers. Alternatively, you can go to huntingguns101.com and sign up there. Now I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Which cartridge do you prefer, the 6.5 Creedmoor or the 300 Win Mag? Let me know what sort of game that you have successfully taken with those cartridges. Let me know by leaving a comment on this video right now. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and good hunting.